everyone, and welcome to another webisode of my story, where I tell my life story in 30-minute webisodes. And yeah, it's been a journey, and I don't think it's really that interesting, but I'm so grateful to have people to watch, and I hope that you enjoy listening to my story. I know that it's really healing, and it's really been a transformative journey for me. And I'm so grateful that I decided to do this and to put it out there, because there's just getting it off my chest really has been the thing that helps me move on and be a better me, I think. So I'm so grateful for that. But for this webisode, I am going to rewind just a little bit. I'm going to discuss my mental health. And so for this webisode, I'm going to be talking about my mental health, and I'm going to kind of just sum it all up in a way. So I'm going to rewind a little bit. Basically, the first time I realized there was something seriously wrong with my mental health was whenever my daughter was in kindergarten, and I ended up in the mental health hospital. I ended up in the mental hospital over Thanksgiving break. And that was my first look, there's something wrong with you. After that, I would have these episodes where I don't know how to describe it, because it's kind of like I'm outside of myself. I become someone else, because I so don't want to be a bad person. I don't want to be bad. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to hurt others. So many people have hurt me, and I don't want to hurt others like I've been hurt. But I have this tendency to hurt myself, and it doesn't help. And then I have this tendency to, because I allow others to hurt me, this part of me that I suppress ends up coming out in times whenever I'm not fully in control. And I'm trying to figure this out through therapy. You know, after the first mental hospital visit, I started cognitive behavioral therapy, and I still was having these episodes, like especially at home. I began to feel toxic because I was having these episodes, and I think that, a lot of things impact it too. I had financial stress. All my kids were being bullied at school because we couldn't afford the nice clothes. We couldn't afford nice food, let alone nice clothes. And we certainly couldn't afford to have them have different shoes for everything. We were lucky that each child had a pair of shoes, And meanwhile, Zach's telling everybody that I'm a parental alienator and that he's paying me thousands of dollars a month in child support that he just will not pay. To my face, what he tells me is, suck it, girl, I won't ever pay you. I'd rather go to jail than pay you. That's what he'll tell me to my face, but to everybody else's face, it's I'm a gold digger, But the reality was we were struggling, and it was hard, and this stuff, it compounds. It adds to the mental health and mental illness that was. And I would have these just intense breakdowns, and during these breakdowns everybody was like, whoa, what's going on? Because I'm a nice, loving, kind person until I'm not, and then it's like, whoa, I'm really not, and I'll turn the anger in on myself, because I begin to feel like everybody's beating me up, and I'm just like, I don't care, you can beat me up. I don't care, you can beat me up. I don't care, go ahead, beat me up. And then all of a sudden it's like, I care, I'm gonna beat me up for you, because I'm guys, I'm 5'2". my little tiny wrists, they're tiny little bird wrists. There's nothing, my tiny hands, they're tiny hands, guys. These are tiny little hands. There's nothing about me that says I could beat someone up or that would ever be an option in my life. It's not an option. So what is an option is passive aggressiveness or yelling, or maybe if I beat me up enough, you won't have to. That kind of stuff. But still, it wasn't healthy. I wasn't healthy. I certainly was not healthy in my mind. And ended up, cognitive behavioral therapy did help a whole lot, but there, in the meltdowns, it wasn't there. And then I ended up in the mental hospital yet again. And this time they diagnosed me with borderline personality disorder. And, at first I was happy about it, but then it began, like, I'm really super broken. And I had to be on all these pills, guys. I was on so many pills. It just was ridiculous. And I was just like, why? And they're like, because, you have this mental illness and these pills are going to help you. And I had antidepressant, and then I had these pills that helped my antidepressant, and I had anti-anxieties, and I had the pills that help the pills that help pills. And it was just so crazy. And then, like, I would go to the pharmacy. I wouldn't, some of these pills, like the ones that help the depression pills. The depression pills, I take the depression pills and they make me want to kill myself. So instead of, and we've gone through so many antidepressant pills, but so the antidepressants make me want to kill myself. So I have to take a pill that assists my antidepressant, right? And that pill does not get you high. It doesn't get anybody high. It doesn't feel good. It's not a happy pill or anything like that. I don't even know what kind of pill it is. All that I know is that whenever I take my antidepressant, I want to kill myself. And then whenever I take this on top of my antidepressant, I can get through my day. It's not that I can live happily through my day, because that's not even an option on these pills. You can live numb and get through your day. But at least now I'm not numb wanting to cut myself open, And those were the pills that I would run out of, and I would go to the pharmacist, and like half the time my pharmacist is like, your insurance will pay for them. Half the time my insurance wouldn't pay for them. And sometimes the doctor didn't put in. I still needed those. I had to make a whole new psychiatrist appointment, which is different than the therapist appointments. Because the therapist appointments, I go to weekly, and I'm working on this cognitive behavioral therapy. Well, now it was dialectical. It was DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, which helped so much. It helps so much because that helps me with this black and white thinking that I have, and finding the gray and acknowledging that the gray can be real, so important during my meltdowns, or my episodes, as we're calling them right now. And, but, there was hope, because BPD is a curable one. It's curable. But like I was talking about with my meds, the meds were hit and miss. I had to make an appointment with my psychiatrist again, remind him, hey, I also need these meds on top of my antidepressants. Otherwise, my antidepressants make me want to cut myself into pieces. So could we make sure that I have those? Could you make sure that the refills are there? And he's like, you can only do 3 refills at a time. So it's 3 months, and then I'm back to the same problem again. That's not, I don't care who you are. Well, I do care who you are. Some people, it's perfectly healthy for them and their mental illness to be able to do that. It's not healthy for me and my mental illness to do that. I can't, you can't tell me you have to have this pill to be mentally right. Otherwise, you're going to be mentally wrong, and you're not going to be able, because for me, my goal that I set out in counseling, my goal was to be a good mom, a good wife, and be able to hold a job. Those are my 3 goals. So first we're going to work on good wife, then we'll work on good mom, and then we'll work on holding a job, right? We talked about why is that order in therapy and everything. So that's all that I want to be able to do without having these episodes. I really want to get these episodes cured and out of me, because it seems like the older I get, the more they're there. Because I remember the first one, I was 7. The second one, I was 14. The third one, I'm like 21. The fourth one, I'm 22. I'm 23. I'm 24. I'm 25. Now it's like 2-3 a year, you know? So I'm wanting to cure those episodes. And they're like, I guess they're very incredibly toxic BPD episodes, you know? That can be cured, is what they're telling me. But they said that you need to be on these pills to be able to take the therapy. And basically, what I was hearing was these pills soften it up so that you can take the therapy. And I couldn't take it no more. I remember the day that I did. I called into the pharmacy for my antidepressant pills, pills, and once again, he said, I'm sorry, you're out of refills, and I didn't have another appointment with the psychiatrist that my insurance would pay for another 4 months, even though I knew that it was only 3 months, and I couldn't take it no more. I went and got all my pills, and I flushed them. And my husband's like, what are you doing? And I said, if I can't be healthy, if Jesus can't save me, then I'm not going to be saved. If Jesus can't heal me, then I'm not going to be healed. I don't want these pills. And he was like, okay, but can we talk to your counselor first? I'm like, okay. So we went and talked to the counselor, and he was there for that one. And she said, okay, that's okay. It's okay for you to want to choose a healing path that does not require pills. That's okay. And I'm so grateful that she said that. And she said it to my husband too. And that day, it was like all the weight was lifted off of me. And I felt like I was actually going to be able to move forward in healing my BPD. I was going to find healing for real this time. It just felt to me that all the pills got in the way of my healing. Like they all got in the way of my healing. And I was so grateful. I was happy to flush them down the toilet. I was so happy because I felt like a drug user. I just felt like a druggie, and it was awful. I did not like it at all. So, yeah, and I started to work with Jesus a lot more. I started praying a lot more and just started leaning into working with Jesus. And I think it was the first time because before that, the church teaches you that, you have to be practically perfect before you can talk to God. If you're living in sin, you can't pray. It's not true. You can pray living in sin. Trust me, God wants you to talk to him whenever you're low. So what the church taught me growing up, it kind of planted this seed into me that while I'm low, while I'm in my episode, I can't talk to God. And now it was like, hey, Jesus, will you help heal me? And so it was like, I'm going to have to come to you while I'm in episodes. So before, I would go into these episodes and I would get really, really suicidal and depressive, and I would feel like there's no hope. Now I would go into these episodes and be really suicidal and depressive, but have the ability to reach out to Jesus. And that made way more of a difference than any of the pills ever did. Ever did. Now, here's the problem with it though. There is a problem with it because obviously I'm mentally ill. I have a mental illness. And with that mental illness, I'm doing things like going into a massive depressive episode, trying to remember my cognitive behavioral tools, coping skills, and also trying to understand my dialectical behavior skills and coping skills. And I'm going to prayer with Jesus, like I can't tell you how many times I would like run out in the woods crying in the middle of an episode, just crying and wanting to die. And I just go to prayer and I talk to Jesus and he talks back to me. And there's like this tug of war that began to happen with me with, is this Jesus talking to me, or is it my mental illness amplifying illusions and delusions, you know? So, and I already know, there's a whole entire believe, what would we call it? There's a whole entire sect of humans that would believe, oh, you're being extra delusional. You doubled down on your mental illness. So there's a lot of people that would believe that, and I don't blame them. They didn't have the experience that I had. So, I'm by the time that we moved to Spring Meadows, that's where I was in my mental health journey. I remember because it was at the deer camp place where I threw down the pills and I really started working close with my therapist with this DBT, and I was working with her whenever we moved to the place. And it was shortly after we moved there that my therapist told me, I don't think that you're BPD anymore. I think that you're CPTSD. And it just triggered me so hardcore because I am what I am. And back then it used to make me mad when people would say that I'm not BPD, because it's like, me knowing that I'm BPD is the route to me healing. So don't tell me that I'm not, like, it's like they're telling me, you're perfectly normal, but you're not being normal. And I'm like, I can't trying, but I'm perfectly normal apparently, even though I can't try to be normal. Oh, it was so messed up. But yeah, I did end up, once we moved to the Spring Meadows place, I ended up moving away from my therapist because I felt like she wasn't going to help me, and I felt like Jesus was. And I just strongly felt that way. And I was reading the Bible, and I was very biblical about a lot of things. And one of the things that was biblical is how to discern the spirits, discerning of the spirits, and how to make sure that you know that you're hearing from the right Jesus, right? Because that's so important. It's very important. And especially because Jesus would be telling me to do things. Like, I'd be like, I'm so sad, I want to kill myself. And it's like, no, don't kill yourself. Go home and do your hair and makeup and you'll feel better. And I did, I'd go home, do my hair and makeup and feel better. It wasn't always that simple, guys. It wasn't always that simple. But basically, I would go home and I would like look for signs and, is it doing my, but one of the things, to tell if it's a false prophet is one wrong prophecy in the Bible means it's a false prophet. So I guess God will let you run until you misinterpret him. Once you misinterpret God, you're done as a prophet. So I don't want to be a prophet. I do want to use my psychic skills to see into the future for you guys, for others, and for myself. And, I want us all to be able to see into the future, to be able to tell what's coming. But sometimes I misinterpret it and I get it wrong. So I'm a false prophet. If I'm a prophet, I'm a false one, because I've definitely gotten it wrong. So that's one of the biblical ways. And another, he doesn't ask for worship, but I guess Jesus does ask for worship. There is a Jesus that does ask for worship, but the one that I've been working with hasn't ever asked for worship, and he's always treated me as an equal, and even makes me feel like I can be Christ-like, just like him. Which is crazy. It's crazy ideas and thoughts, guys. But I remember this one time that, I was having an episode, and I went and I walked down the street. I walked quite a ways, and I walked up on this hill. And part of why I was having this episode this one time that I was having it was because we were living, I think that I've told you guys, this Spring Meadows place was hell. It was hell. We were living in hell. We would get stung at night because there was all the wasps in our roof, and there were leaks everywhere, and every time it rained, the whole place flooded. It was hell. There's rats everywhere, roaches everywhere, mildew everywhere. You could hardly breathe. It was hell. It was hell. But the whole idea was we're living in hell for free, so we're saving up our money, and we were saving up our money, just for sure. We were gonna get out of there, and we started looking for a place to live, and it doesn't always line up right away, and it's like 6 months later we're still looking for a place to live, and just because we have the money, just because we have the credit, just because we have everything right, doesn't mean that things are going to work out. We came to closing on three different places, and it fell apart. It just fell apart. It wasn't meant to be, and that was part of the reason I was having this episode, and we had just closed on this one place. I really, really wanted it. It was so perfect for all of us, and the land, the place, everything. I couldn't understand, and so I had this episode, and I was in the woods, and I remember it. It's so crazy. I remember I was just crying and crying, and I called upon Jesus, and I just felt his presence there. I never seen him, but I feel him there, and he speaks to me. I can't explain it, but he speaks to me, and I always look for confirmation of what he says. But I was up on this hill, and I was just crying, and he showed up, and it's so crazy because I'm sitting here, I'm like, Jesus, it doesn't seem like it. I'm trying to hold faith that we'll have a place. It doesn't seem like my kids deserve, like, I want them to have their own room. Don't they deserve that? They're girls. Other people, I pass these suburban houses, and I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. But of course, their mom's able to keep a job. Their mom's not mentally ill, in and out of mental hospitals, going to therapy to hopefully work up to being able to get a job one day. Maybe, hopefully, one day I can get a job and I can be normal, and my kids will be worthy of living a normal type life and having normal clothes and having their own room. And I'm just pouring my heart out to Jesus about this stuff, and he just says, I can time travel. And you're just like me. And you can time travel too. It's like, Jesus, what are you talking about? I'm sitting here pouring my heart out to you. Come on. My kids are getting older. Don't you think that I deserve to be able to give them a place to live, a nice place to live, that they don't get stung by wasps and chewed on by rats, Don't you think they deserve that? I understand that I'm mentally ill, but would you like me to show you how I time travel? Well, I guess so, Jesus. I guess show me how you time travel. I guess. Whatever. And literally, he took me 5 years into the future. And on that very hill, we end up moving into a place, and I didn't believe it. I was like, but this hill, nobody lives here. Like, this is just a place in the woods. He's like, your home's gonna be right here. And it was pretty cool, because he was right. It happened. And pretty neat. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, I was at Spring Meadows. We were at the Spring Meadows place, and it was harsh. It wasn't good times. It wasn't. And I was trying to overcome my mental health issues while dealing with immense amounts of financial stress and understanding how broke I am and trying to love myself through it despite it all. But yeah, I do have some more stories to tell y'all that happened at that Spring Meadows place, but I guess that'll be for the next one. I think that we're out of time, but I am so grateful that you guys made it this far. Thank you for watching. Jesus has been my helper. He's been there right by my side. I am not a Christian. Not a Christian. I will not be a Christian. I can't stand the Christian philosophy. I love Christians, okay? But I'm not a Christian, but I love Jesus. And Jesus is really close to me, really close to my heart. And I walk with him every day. And I'm so grateful for him. I'm so grateful for the lessons that he's taught me. And I'm grateful that you guys are watching. And there you go. There you have it, my story. Sorry about the dog barking at the end. Family just got home, so we're going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Sorry about the dogs barking. And as always, be blessed with love. That's all. Wait a minute. No, that's not all she got. She got a little bit to say just here at the end, so hold on, folks. I just want to say really, really quick, I've got an exciting opportunity to share with you. As a student and a content creator, I pour my heart and my soul into each and every video. And I absolutely love bringing you all along on my crazy adventures. But you know, creating quality content requires a lot of time, effort, and resources. But that's where you can come in. If you enjoy my videos and want to share your support, I've set up a few ways for you to contribute and become an even more integral part of the Mystic Hillbilly community. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me to continue doing what I love most. First of all, I have a few donation options available to you. If you'd like to make a one-time contribution, you can find the links to my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal in the video descriptions. And every single donation, no matter how big or small, truly makes a difference and allows me to create even more exciting content for you all. But wait, there's more. I'm thrilled to introduce to you my Patreon membership, where for only $5.55 a month, you can gain access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content and outtakes from all my videos. As a Patreon supporter, you'll get to see all the edits and behind-the-scenes bloopers that didn't make it in the final cut. It's like having a VIP pass to the Mystic Hillbilly editing room. This is really something special for all my haters out there. As a member, you'll gain access to hours of footage of me making mistakes, doing everything wrong, and just having an all-around hilarious time. So, haters, if you ever want to see me in my most human, this is your golden opportunity. So, whether you choose to become a member or make a donation, know that your support is deeply appreciated. I genuinely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this amazing journey with me. Your positive energy and contributions mean everything to me. Before I go, I just want to take a moment to say that I pray that every blessing sent my way is multiplied and returned to the sender tenfold. May success find their way into your lives as you've brought them into mine. Thank you all so much for your support, and until next time, stay adventurous, stay curious, and always remember to keep the mystic in you alive. And now, that's all she got.